How's everybody doing today? Are we all feeling good? Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Rex is feeling better until I start bullying him. Busy Friday. Dope. Dope, dope, dope. Today we're going to keep office hours to just an hour, maybe maximum an hour and a half. I'm going to stay a little bit low volume because Bailey is still sleeping and I don't want to disturb her. We're both in the basement. We're pretty far apart, but I just want to be a little bit conscious of that. I do have a photo shoot scheduled for later, so that's why I need to end early so that I can prep for that and make sure that all my clothes are right, make sure my hair is still good, and be out the door in time to make it to the location. The shoot is for getting cute photos, as always. I feel like I'm a pretty cute dude, and I like pictures of myself. But this one's going to be for I'm going to do some photos of me and Bailey, and also probably both of us individually. The every year here's a fun little thing that you guys can do. So when I was in I think in my second year of college, I was listening to a lot of personal development and sales and business kind of audio tapes. And there was one that I was listening to. I don't remember if it was from Zig Ziglar or who else could it have been? Some old school sales guy. And he was talking about when he was in sales. I think this person was in car sales, whoever it was. He was talking about how every year he would write Christmas cards and send them out to his clients. And that created a really strong relationship between them. They'd always come back and buy from him. And he would get a lot of referrals because he was doing a lot of relationship building. So in like October-ish, he would get the cards and then he'd start writing them. And he'd do 3 or 4 a day. That way they'd be ready in time for them to be sent out and delivered by Christmas. When I heard that, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And I'd always told myself, when I get to a position where I can do this, and I'd always figured I'd have some kind of sales job, right? So when I figure, or when I get into a position where I can do this, then I figure that I will. And when I started copywriting, I had clients, I started making a lot of friends, and I did have that opportunity. So now every year I get a custom card made, or I should say I make a custom card, or I make a design and then I have the cards made and sent to me. And then I send them out to the important people in my life. So my family, my friends, and my clients who I've got relationships with. I guess also coworkers, like now that I'm working in the, like in corporate. And so these photos, ideally, will be ones that I can use for that. Not through email, through normal mail, silly. Last year I guess I keep one-upping myself. The first year that I did it, I did like me in a Santa hat holding Yeez, my cat. And she had little reindeer horns on her. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. And then the year after that, what did I do? Hold on, let me see if I can find them. I guess I'll just share my screen and show you guys all of my Canva stuff at the same time. This is a video that I made for Coveo. Let's see. I think it would have started December 2019. Where do I? Oh. So going back to December 2019, that would have been 2 years ago. Okay, so this was the one from 2021. Me and my brother and my buddy Axel. Shout out to all these naked strong dudes. These are all creatives for Facebook ads. I'm not weirdly into, or I'm not sexually, I should say, interested in photos of people getting massages or old people having their bodies folded. um, it would have probably been after this. Maybe I won't be able to find it either. Oh, there we go. So that's me and Yeez. And then last year, it was. um, So last year was this photo, but I edited it a little bit. 6 months ago, I guess that would be 9 months. Maybe I don't have it saved in Canva. Let me see if I can find it in my drive. Oh well. So last year was that photo of me with Lori, and I put like Christmas hats on us. I put a snow background, so I just edited that a little bit. So that's what I do every year. I would urge you to consider doing something similar for your clients. It'll make them feel special. It'll build a stronger relationship, but also doing something like that for your friends and family. It's especially impactful for older people who like mail, but then again, for younger people, it's impactful because they're not used to receiving mail. So it's a good strategy, I find. Awesome. Well, I hope that you guys find some value in that. And on that, we can transition flawlessly into Q&A. So, like I said, we've got maybe just an hour today, and we'll do some simple Q&As. No feedback today, because I'm going to have to get ready and do all my stuff. My editing process after writing my first draft of copy. That is a great question, Pranav. So when I write copy, I've already mentioned in the past that I write and I don't edit as I'm writing. So I just want the free flow of ideas. I don't want to stop my creativity or put limits on my creativity because I feel like I need my writing to be perfect, because it's never going to be perfect the first time. So when I sit down to write, by the time I'm sitting down to write, I've already got all my VOC. I've already got like the templatized version of what I want to write. If it's an email, I'm like, okay, I know this is the structure I'm going to use. If it's an ad, I know the structure. If it's a landing page, I'm like, okay, these are the sections. And then I just start writing it in. I'm like, blah, 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 words, words, words. And as I'm writing, I'll get some bad ideas. I'll get some good ideas. Follow all of the threads, write everything out. Once I've written everything out, then let's say I'm writing an email. So I've got like a page of copy and I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, this is my copy. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is to look through it and see if the idea makes sense. Did I stick to the rule of one? Did I communicate what I'm trying to communicate? If the answer is yes, then I'm good to move forward. If the answer is no, then I need to clear things up. So let's say that I'm writing an email to promote, we'll say office hours. Let's say you guys were paying for office hours, and it's part of like a subscription that I have for $50 a month. Shout out HU3. And I want to get more people on my email list to come to pay for the office hours program. Then my email would probably go something like, let's say it's like a success story email. So I send it out. I'm like, hey, Michelle, you've been on my list for like 2 months now, and I noticed that you still haven't taken the leap to joining my office hours program. Now, I don't blame you. I actually take full responsibility for that. Because if you haven't joined yet for just $50 a month, that means that you don't see the value that office hours can bring you. Well, I want to tell you a quick story about my friend Rex, who has been in the office hours program for the last 3 months. And here's how cool Rex was when he started. But even though he was really cool, he wasn't landing any copywriting clients. So by attending office hours, he got himself to a point where he had not just the skill and not just the capability to secure really good clients, but also the confidence to reach out to them and to do what he had to do in order to chase or secure that bag. Thank you for listening, and CTA. Right? Let's say it's something like that. So I read through it, and I'm going to ask myself, am I focused on the success story and trying to get Michelle to convert from that success story? If the answer is yes, then I'm like, okay, cool, awesome. I've passed my first round of edits. Then my second round of edits, I'm looking for the narrative. So does it flow well? Does it make sense from sentence to sentence? Is it coherent, or is it confusing? If it's coherent, then good, I can move on. If it's confusing, then I'm going to have to chop things up, add things in, make it so that what I'm trying to say is obvious to the person who's reading it. And then my third round of edits, I'm going line by line, and I'm just critiquing what I wrote specifically. So does this line say what I want to say? Am I using the right techniques here, right? Like, let's say I'm reading and I'm like, oh, it gets kind of boring here. What if I opened a loop instead? So boom, punch in my open loop. And then later on, make sure to come back to that. Or let's say I see an opportunity for plugging social proof, then do that. So that's kind of the 3 steps that I do when I'm editing my own work and when I'm editing other people's work. And I know that Sean does the same thing. I don't know if he describes it in the same way, but he's also got like a hierarchy like that. And I feel like that's how you have to analyze it, because if you get a bad idea, then it doesn't matter how good your narrative is. It doesn't matter how good your copy is, line by line, because it won't make sense. Like, nobody's going to click if your idea sucks. If your narrative sucks, then nobody's going to read it because it's confusing. So they'll be like, what is this? Jump out. If your copy sucks, right, that's the bottom level. So that's where you get the most into it, like granular as you're editing. But that's the idea. Also, handing my work off to other people so they can do cub critiques. So is it confusing? Is it unbelievable? Is it boring? Point those things out. And also like a kind of a narrative analysis. Does it make sense? Does the flow sound good? And I just did that on Wednesday night, actually, with my buddy Johnny, who I'm living with right now in Wisconsin, because I wrote out a narrative for... I wanted to do like a presentation for us internally at Coveo, where I present one of the characters who we're selling to, like this avatar, and then walk us through a day in her life where she has the pain points, she has the desires, she experiences the objections, and make it like a story for how this person would go through the buyer's journey. So wrote that out, handed it over to Johnny. He analyzed it, and he was like, these are all the issues that I see with it. And I took notes of that, and then I went back to edit it. So getting your own eyes on that, getting someone else's eyes on that, very, very beneficial. And another thing that I do when I edit, this will be the last thing, I read it out loud to myself, because that helps me catch any mistakes that I made. And then also I use an app called Voice Dream, where VoiceStream can pull anything from your drive, like PDFs or docs. I think it does EPUBs as well. So it can pull files from your drive, and then it turns it into like an audiobook where it dictates it or narrates it for you. So hearing somebody else read it to me through that app, that's also helpful for me to catch any mistakes that I've made. Those are the things that I do when I'm editing my copy. Now, Makar asked, should I drop out of high school to seek copywriting? I feel like that's not a serious question, so I'm going to ignore it. How do you fire bad clients? I have the last bit of work to submit, and then I'm done. I want higher pay, and I already know I don't want to work with anyone I've worked for so far. Well, I feel like that's an easy one to answer. You just say, hey, I don't want to work with you anymore. And then how you want to go about it, whether you want to be super diplomatic or not diplomatic, is up to you. If it were me, I'd be like, hey, got too much work. Don't really feel like working with you anymore. Bye. If you want to preserve that relationship, that's probably the best way to do it. If you don't care about the relationship, you can literally just ghost them. I wouldn't do that myself, but like, there's not a right or a wrong here. You don't want to work with them anymore, just stop working with them. Jessica's question. Where may I find alternative copy for the 30-day copywriting challenge? I'm too much of a noob to figure out which ones to pick. I don't know. I've never been through that. If somebody else has done that and they can answer Jessica's question, that would be dope. How do you increase your flow? Like, my writing sounds like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. I would say that the best way to write better is to read a lot. If you read fiction, then you'll get a better understanding of the flow of fiction. You can also read nonfiction about writing fiction. So things like StoryBrand or man, I wish I had my bookshelf with me because I could just rattle off the books that I've read. But there are a lot of books that you can read about storytelling that could help you out. And then third thing, reading a lot of copy that has good narrative so you can understand how that's deployed. Rex asks, how do you approach rewriting a page like this if someone told you they wanted to rewrite it to be more persuasive? What do you prioritize initially? How much research do you have to do? Let's see. Data-based decision-making in your business now to achieve your goals faster and easier with BI. Business intelligence is your trusted advisor in making strategic decisions. Whether you want to enter new markets, satisfy your customers' hidden desires, investigate your competitors to gain competitive advantages, BI is always by your side to help you grow and become a market leader stress-free. You'll always have someone to help you make the right decision fast and with minimum effort. About BI services. Clients love BI. Meet your advisor. Contact us now. All right. So if I were tasked with writing this, the first thing I would ask is, where's your traffic coming from? Who's your audience? What's their awareness? What's their sophistication? Because until you know that, you really can't do anything at all. Once you've figured that out, then you can rework the structure. So here you have a headline. You've got this CTA on the side. And that's pretty garbo. I don't like that. So I would restructure the headline complex, include a CTA button here, and then proof bar, and then start with agitation, right? Like just traditional web copy kind of stuff. 60 plus happy clients. It's not a good social proof point. 99% client success score. It's a top rated provider. So these are okay. This isn't great because 60 plus happy clients is like, so nobody, right? Like that's my first thought. And then about BI, why do I care? That shouldn't be on the homepage. What is market intelligence? So if someone lands on this page they should already know this, meaning this is useless. BI services, that is good because that's like a how do we do what we do, which should come after the agitation. This, we present information in the best way to save your time. I don't know what that means. We're not interested in making you read and analyze a lot of text. It's our job. You'll always get quick and clear answers to your questions. So I feel like up to this point, it's not really explained enough for me to understand what's going on. Our clients love BI. Cool. Proof bar. But like it feels, to me, it feels like there's too much going on here in this proof bar. I could be wrong. It's just like it's very spacious, or it's cumbersome, I should say. So I don't like it personally, but it might work. And then here, why do I care? Right? Alina, she means nothing to me. She, Alina, just about her. This is the only thing that's like, it starts like this, but it actually tells me what the benefit is here. So that's the only paragraph that actually makes sense. And then whack. So if I were to restructure it, I guess Q&A close at the end. So it's cool. But if I were to redo this page, do a lot of research, figure out where the traffic's coming from, and then restructure completely and see what my big idea is that I want to go with. Does that make sense, Rextifer? Cool. How do you learn to write video ads? Good question, Andre. You learn to write video ads by studying video ads and realizing that it's essentially just short form copy. So depending on the medium, you're going to have different lengths. If it's on YouTube, it's probably going to be longer than Facebook. If it's e-com, it's probably going to be shorter than info products, right? You have to understand your medium first and your audience and your niche. But once you know kind of what they usually do, then the most important thing to keep in mind is that you need a really strong hook. So your hook is going to be super, super important in a video. And videos are great because you can use visual hooks and not just written hooks, right? So a visual hook, for example, you can have camera looking at a dude and he's holding like a treasure chest, a little box. And he's like, there are 3 words inside of this box, or maybe there's a message. There's a message inside of this box, or there's a blueprint. There's a blueprint inside of this box that shows the 9 steps that I used to grow my agency from 0 to $1 million per month in under a year. And then he opens it a little bit and the camera gets closer and then he shuts it. And he's like, but I'm not going to show you what it is right now, right? And so something like that, where we just opened a loop, we've got curiosity, and then the visual of it plays into that. And it makes it very, very easy for you to engage the audience and keep them there. Another one, a classic Dean Graziosi ad that Russell Brunson swiped. Dean Graziosi has a book that he sets on fire. And he's like, my book is literally on fire. It's flying off the shelves. Da-da-da-da-da. You got, on the softer side, you got just people walking and talking. On the harder side, you got comedy and stunts. So figure out what works best for the brand that you're working with. And then study people like ClickFunnels and Dean Graziosi and Traffic and Funnels. Mark something, or maybe his last name starts with an R, and so I'm just saying his name is Mark because I'm thinking of Mark Ruffalo. But there are a lot of people in the info space that you can swipe ideas from. Russ Rufino, maybe. Maybe that's it. A lot of good people who you can swipe ideas from in the info space, and depending on who you're trying to target and what you want to do, that should help you. That should help inspire some ideas. As a potential customer, this gave me no insight to what you do and why it helps me accept the service part. Yeah, 100%. How often do you read nowadays / at your peak for the purpose of learning? These days, I barely read for the purpose of learning because I'm traveling and I am not. I'm not in a place where I'm like, I need to learn this really big thing. So that, but when I am at home, I would usually spend like 1 to 2 hours a day reading nonfiction for the purpose of learning, and then also going through courses and studying other stuff. So maybe 3-4 hours a day dedicated to study. Should you use templates when writing? Short answer, yes. I would suggest before writing, looking for what other successful people are doing to sell the same kind of stuff that you're doing, and then you can templatize that, and then write based off of your template. So if we look at, let's say I'm trying to write a SaaS homepage for a different, like a funnel software or landing page builder, something like that. We want to templatize it. We look at the headline, the subheadline, the way that it's laid out, and then we'll go through the rest of the copy on the page. And then we can use that structure to write our own stuff. So, smart marketing tools to grow your business. We have this suite of features to help you achieve this result. Turn more of your visitors into customers. Unbounce is the AI-powered landing page builder with smart features that let you create beautiful, high-performing marketing campaigns in just a few minutes. So templatize this. Big benefit based on your number one desire. My product is the thing with the features that lets you do this really cool stuff really fast. So if that's my template, take that idea, write in my own copy for my own offer. And then CTAs, these are this is 2 different products that they offer. So one would direct us to the landing pages product, and one of them would direct us to the, I think it's like a copywriting AI tool. Then what do they have right after? They have a free report. So this, I imagine, is a landing page. Yeah. Dope. So they have a landing page for a report right at the top in section number 2. So emulate that. Then going down, achieve your goals faster through unique mechanism. Then here we have social proof. Here's how we do it. And do it better. Product 1, product 2, product 3. And graphic. Big desire. All the stuff you can achieve. Again, big desire. These would be like audience 1, audience 2, audience 3, and then sending us to specific landing pages for each. Brief bar. Overcoming objections. So your business is unique. This is something that no matter what you sell, if you're doing B2B, people are going to say, my business is unique. If you're selling B2C, people will be like, I am unique. So this is overcoming one of those big objections. And then again, sending us to different landing pages. And here, final, minor CTAs before we get to these final bigger CTAs, which are the same ones that we saw up here. So does that make sense? How you would templatize something like this and then use it to write your own copy. All right, Rex says yes, so I will take Rex's yes and run with it. Cool. And then I also saw thoughts on copywriting AI, how to be better than it in the long run. Copywriting AI sucks. You don't have to worry. Research, what do you prioritize? In what order? If you were to write a spec piece, I would write a spec piece the exact same way that I would write a normal piece. What has been your benefits in terms of paid courses you've taken, like the community, faster growth, new way of thinking? The courses that I shill the most are Copy School. So there's like 10x landing pages, 10x sales pages, 10x emails. I love everything from copy hackers. The biggest benefit that I got was being able to understand copy better. Second biggest benefit I got was being able to write copy better. Third biggest thing I got was resources to make writing copy easier. So that, I guess, is my full answer. I don't know if that makes sense to the question you were asking, but let me know if it does or if it doesn't. What do you think of funnel scripts or that kind of software? I think it's all stupid and I would not waste my money on it. It's the one skill that can help your copywriting/sales. I would say the number one skill, there's no just one skill because there are a lot of things that will help you, but the most important one, in my opinion, is empathy. Because when you're able to put yourself in a place where you're empathetic, oh, did Rex? Got him. When you're able to put yourself in a place where you're empathetic towards the person who you're selling to, then you can speak to them a lot more easily. So being able to live a day in their life will help you understand how to speak to their pains, speak to their desires, and dimensionalize everything that you're writing. There's a great book that I would recommend called Win Your Case from the author Gerry Spence. So his name's spelled a little bit weird. I'll drop it in chat. Gerry Spence. And the name of the book again is Win Your Case. It's called Win Your Case because Gerry Spence is the most successful trial lawyer in the history of the United States, I believe. And yes, thank you, Michelle. That book is written about being a lawyer, but the first part of the book, because it's broken into 3 parts, is it's like his empathy exercise and what he did to be so successful as a trial lawyer. So how do you put yourself into the shoes of the person you're defending or into the shoes of the person who you're trying to convict? Like, I don't remember exactly what his premise was. And the different steps that he takes to put himself through that process and to teach other people that process. For me, it was extremely beneficial. I read it as one of the first books that I ever went through as a copywriter. And I believe that it's had the biggest impact on me out of everything I've read. I recommend for sure that everybody who's listening to this reads this. And that they use, you don't need to read parts 2 and 3. You can just read part 1 because the rest is about lawyering. But they use what you discover in part 1 to write better copy. According to you, what's the difference between a few $100s a month copywriter and a $2,000+ per month copywriter? That is a great question. Mostly proof of results. If you can prove that you know what you're doing and that you can generate a positive ROI, someone will pay you to do that. I can't tell you who, because there are lots of people who will. And it depends on what you're writing for and what you're doing. But if I'm positioning myself as a blog writer, then there's no ROI on that. So I'm going to be paid for no ROI. If I'm positioning myself as, Jonathan does, a full funnel kind of guy, and I can say, hey, look, this email sequence I wrote, I was paid X dollars for it, it generated Y dollars, therefore that was an ROI of 1,000X, right? Whatever my numbers are. Then me pitching that to another company, they're going to be like, wow, so if I pay Jonathan $2,000 for an email, then I'm likely to make $2 million off of that with that ROI calculation. So proof of results, definitely the number one biggest thing. If you can prove that you can generate ROI, then you shouldn't have any problem being paid to generate that kind of ROI. If you don't have any proof of results, then people are going to be a lot more careful with how much they pay you, because business owners are taking massive risks when they hire copywriters. And we need to empathize with that. And we need to understand that when they're rejecting us, it's because we are not proving to them that we're going to be a net positive for their business. How would you sell something like oil paintings through copy? I would not sell oil paintings through copy. I would sell oil paintings through, well, I would never sell oil paintings myself, but if I was good, I would just like do organic marketing. I would be like, hey, do you want to buy my oil painting, friends? And then their friends would come over. They'd be like, wow, that's such a great oil painting. Where'd you get it? And then my friend would be like, Jonathan. And I would promote my business that way. I would not try to run Facebook ads for oil painting. I'm sure there are people who do in the e-com space. I just have no idea. From your experience, what difference do you find between average copy and copy you write? Like, what are common mistakes? That's a great question. The most common mistake that I see is a lack of understanding of the greater customer journey. So people often write copy in silos when they should be writing copy to complement where it goes in the funnel. For example, if I say to you, Pranav, write me 10 Facebook ads for this, and you don't ask me any questions, you go out, you write 10 Facebook ads, then I get 10 Facebook ads, I pay you, and I run them. If someone were to ask me, Jonathan, can you write me 10 Facebook ads? I would say, okay. Can you map out your funnel for me and your customer journey? Are we using all of these Facebook ads on the front end? If so, what's our goal? Is it awareness? Is it lead gen? Are we doing these as retargeting ads? Are we doing these middle of funnel to get them onto a demo for my software? Are we trying to sell them a low ticket product? Are we trying to use these to retarget people who've already bought a low ticket product to get them onto a coaching call? Right? Like, what is the premise of my copy? And then how can I execute on that? So it's the number one thing I would say that you have to become aware of to write better copy. And then other than that, some common mistakes would be like not being clear, being too hyperbolic, trying to do too many things at the same time. Just like the common stuff that you guys see in office hours when I'm critiquing pieces. Crab stories, that's actually an advanced copywriting technique, telling crab stories. What are things employers love seeing in new copywriters? What can someone do to impress you? And what would you do to impress your boss? Great question. What I would do to impress someone would be to flex my knowledge on them in terms of general marketing strategy and not so much copy. So when you can find a copywriter who comes in and they ask you, and I think I've spoken about this before, they're like, okay, cool, where's your traffic coming from? What kind of audience do you speak to? What kind of funnels do you have in place? Doing something like that, it's going to impress the person who's interviewing you because they see that you get it. If Jonathan was hiring and you came up to me and you were like, hey, Jonathan, I want to write copy for you, then what would I look for? I would look for one, proof of results, because that's the most important thing. I would not hire someone who's got no proof, because that's going to be a huge time suck on for me in my life. If they do have proof of results, then I would look at their copy and be like, do I feel like they actually write well? Or did they just get lucky? Right? If I feel like they write well, then do we get along? If we get along, then cool. I think that's what I would do if I was hiring. But if you're going into an interview, usually they've already decided that they want to work with you if you pass that vibe check. So it's just a matter of passing the vibe check. Yeah, 100%. By the time you get to the interview, it's literally just, do I feel like this person's going to be a fit with my company culture? because they wouldn't waste their time interviewing you if they didn't feel like you had what it took to be a part of whatever systems they have in place. Whether you're the copywriter, the designer, or the salesperson, they wouldn't be interviewing you otherwise. Chronologically, how did you build your skill stack? Great question. I started with sales. I used to be in sales before I ever started writing copy. So I guess it depends how far back you want to go. I started with social skills when I was in college and working to improve my ability to speak to people. After that, then I worked in restaurants for a while, and so that was just reinforcing, like, being around people all the time, talking all the time. That was a lot of fun, and I feel like that definitely had an impact on my skill set. From there, then going into sales, and working in sales was a great experience. I worked in car sales, and so it gave me the opportunity to see a lot of people and try to make a lot of, like, I'm not going to call them low ticket sales, but like less expensive than a house. So you see more people as a car salesman than you would as a realtor, right? So car sales, to get a better understanding of like sales ability. Then beyond that, I would say from there, then I started learning copy, and I started with specifically Facebook ads copy. And then I think email from Facebook ads. After that, like landing page, sales pages, whatever, I think it all just became the same kind of stuff. Once I felt like I was good at copy, I also started studying broader marketing. So .com Secrets would be a book that I would recommend from Russell Brunson. Just marketing theory and marketing strategy, things like that. Then afterwards, I learned about media buying and design and tech. Those, I think, would be the three other ancillary skills that help you out. Like after you learn copy, then after you learn marketing, learning the specifics of design and tech and media buying so that you can understand the whole game, like everything that's going on. Because I felt like the reason why I started learning these skills was that I knew that no matter how good my copy was, it wouldn't convert if someone messed up the other stuff. Like if the media buying sucked, my copy wouldn't convert. So I should learn media buying. That way I can talk to media buyers to tell them what I'm thinking, and so we can have proper technical discussions. Learning design, that way I can tell the person who's doing the design how to lay out the page for it to be best conversion-wise. Learning about tech, so things like email autoresponders and form submissions, like just the back end kind of stuff, so that I can understand what the possibilities are. Because when you see what you can do within within email software, for example, if you see like, oh, I have the opportunity to trigger an email based on an action, then you can start thinking about your marketing strategy. Like if they take action X, then send this email. If they don't take action X, send this email instead. So it opens up your mind to the possibilities of everything that you can do. And then also like working with the people who are going to be setting up the tech, explaining all that to them, and having the language to be able to do that. So that was my journey. And now I'm at a place where I'm really comfortable with all of those pieces. So if you want to do that kind of thing, if you want to follow the same path that I have, that's what I would recommend. First, like learning, I guess, just general copy stuff and getting more specific, understanding how all the copy plays together, like what are Facebook ads, what are emails, what are landing pages, how are they different, and then moving beyond that into strategy, and then beyond that into those specifics of design or media buying or tech to be able to better communicate when you're working in a team or when you're in a larger organization, and to be able to have a better idea of what you can do during the customer journey. Do you think Facebook ads is a good first stack? It depends on what you want to do. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, though. It depends on what you want to do. If you want to write Facebook ads, it's an easy in because there are a lot of agencies that write Facebook ads. So you can get a job as a copywriter doing Facebook ads probably right off Upwork. like with an agency that's going to want you around long term. So I wouldn't say that it's a bad idea. Facebook ads is a good place to start. Emails, a lot of people say that email is a great place to start as well. It's short form, and so it's easy to practice a lot of them. Like when you're starting out, you can do 2 or 3 emails a day in the same way you can do 2 to 3 Facebook ads a day as you're doing spec work. For me, my like first practice, like really sitting down and saying, okay, I'm going to write some copy, was a full length sales page. And I've always been of the opinion that writing or learning to write a sales page teaches you everything you need to know about writing in the other formats as well. Because short form copy is just long form copy, but shorter, right? And long form copy forces you to execute much more, much more technically. So everything that you're going to learn in long form copy, you can then apply to the short form copy that you write. But if you're only writing short form copy, then it's going to be harder to transition into long form copy. Maybe you don't want to write long form copy ever, so don't even worry about it. If you just want to get work really quick, emails, Facebook ads, landing pages, all really great stuff. I think it's more a matter of personal preference than anything else. Good sales pages to learn from, I would say go into the swipe file. And when you go into the swipe file, just pick a niche from the swipe file and look through the pages that are in there. Everything that's in there is stuff that I know to be successful. So you can literally just pick anything and you'll be copying good copy. Lately, I've been copywriting my speeches. Is that something you've ever done, John? Great question, Juan. It depends what you mean by speeches, because I've done a lot of presentations and I have written out the presentations, but the way that I write when I'm presenting is just bullets, because the copy, or I guess like the persuasion, is embedded within me in my subconscious. Like I know how to speak, because I've been speaking for a long time and I've been working on speaking for a long time. So I don't need to go word for word. This is exactly what I'm going to do. If I'm going to do a VSL, then yes. But if I'm going to do something like a masterclass or like a presentation to an audience about something, I don't go word for word. I just tell myself this is what I want to address, and then I build off of that. Can you recommend a long-form piece that you find very good? I want to break one down and study, but it's hard to choose. Of course, if you want something specific, tell me a niche, and I'll tell you what my favorite piece is within that niche that you can go find in the swipe file. How can I improve speaking? ? By speaking? ? Yes, but also it depends on the type of speaking that you want to do. Like if you're just asking me how do I socialize better, there are different resources than if you're asking me how do I control my voice better, which would be a different resource from if you're asking me how do I make slide decks and corporate presentations better. Course or coaching program. All right, so Revo, go into the swipe file, go into copy coaching business, and look for the it's traffic and funnels. What's it called? Newsfeed Authority. So Newsfeed Authority from Traffic and Funnels. That is my favorite all-time sales page, long-form sales page for a low-ticket product. What is the difference between bullets and body benefits? I've never heard the term body benefits, so I have no idea. Can you give tips on controlling your voice? I will just echo what Pranav says. Check out Roger Love's book, Vocal Power. So Roger Love, Vocal Power. So Mihailo, the difference between benefits, just writing them in the body copy, and bullets is the format of it. Like bullets are going to be a lot more fascinating. Like they're going to be more couched in intrigue. And they're going to be used as a list to break up the copy. Whereas benefits built into the body That's just going to be like copy in a paragraph. So formatting more than anything else, I think. Awesome. Perfect. And I will end it on that, my friends. Thank you very much for listening to me today and for providing so many great questions for me to answer. I don't think I can do the outro in Spanish because there are too many specific words that I don't know. But I will do the outro in English. So before I let you guys go, if you can do me a favor and jump into the left side of your Discord where you got all the channels, scroll all the way to the top of that and click on the Events tab. In the Events tab, you will find Wednesday office hours and Friday office hours scheduled for the 12th of October and the 14th of October, respectively. Once you do that, then click on Interested for both of those events. And that's going to be beneficial for you because you're going to see in the Event tab when the event is happening in your local time. So Discord translates it to wherever you are in the world. For me right now, in Wisconsin, I'm in Central Time, so it says Wednesday, October 12th, 10 a.m. On the East Coast, it's going to say 11 a.m. On the West Coast, it's going to say 8 a.m. In Argentina, it'll say noon. And throughout the rest of the world, I leave that up to you. Discord will tell you when the event is going down. Also, by clicking Interested, when you've got Discord open and the event starts, you should get a ping that says, "Hey, yo, office hours is starting." So by doing that, you've guaranteed that you're not going to miss out on office hours, even if you're in your anime Lolita feet-loving Discord server and not hanging out in the CC. You'll get that little notification and be like, "Hey, yo, office hours, come make some money, come secure the bag, come grab that moolah," right? Whatever it is. And so you'll be sure to be there on time with us so you don't miss what's going on that day. I love all of you guys. Thank you very much for your time, for your energy, and thank you to everyone who provided us with questions today. Really, really, really appreciate it. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to just stick around for an hour because I do have some other stuff to do. Love you guys very, very much. Thank you again, and I will see you all on Wednesday.